The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
So while Russia did escape this large sweeping ban in the regular Olympics, the Paralympic team did not fare so well. And the entire Russian 2016 Paralympic team has been banned after this doping scandal thing.
Yeah.
And so what is the problem? The problem is state-sponsored doping. Russia, a very proud country, wants to win as many medals as possible, and they've been doping up people on the Paralympic team. There are many people on one side of this saying this is both sides are saying this is unprecedented. One side is saying, how can you possibly just take every single person on the Paralympic team and say you're banned as a whole? The other side saying this is what you have to do to make sure that state-sponsored doping is stops. And I'm with that side. I say that if a country is willing to go that far, that this makes sense, and that they will think twice about this next time around.
Well, we talked about, you can debate whether doping should be banned, right? So that's a debate that you can have. Say, hey, you know what? Just let people do whatever they want, and it'll just be known that some people have taken substances and things are available to take, and then we'll sort of understand that these are not exactly what we would call natural abilities. You could debate whether you care about doping. If the rules are that doping is not allowed and that there are banned substances, then it's up to the organization that is in charge of this to determine what methods they are going to require to see to it that doping is prevented or that people are punished. And then participants can decide, oh, you know what? Those methods are, those are oppressive methods. And then they could choose not to participate, right? That would sort of be their decision to make.
Yeah. And so in 2014, Russia won the 2014. Winter Olympics. They won 30 out of 72, Russia, 30 out of 72 golds in the Paralympics then.
Right.
That's a really, really high number.
It probably wasn't chance that happened, and it probably wasn't just skill either.
Yeah. And I've never really understood the whole our country needs to win as many gold medals as possible. What exactly does that do? I understand an individual setting goals for themselves, challenging themselves, winning a gold medal. Wonderful. That's the best. And on an individual level, that could mean lots of money, too, from endorsements and deals. But what does it mean for a country? And why would a country start doping up all of their athletes just to win as many gold medals as possible? What does that really do for Russia?
In practice, maybe not that much, especially as people seem to be caring somewhat less about many of these Olympic sports. But I think the idea is just prestige, right? We are the great Russia, and we have Olympic athletes, and we win. Right? I mean, isn't sort of the Trump idea of we're going to win again?
I guess. It's just image. It's just image.
Have you been watching Olympics?
Yeah, the coverage, I find the coverage to be pretty terrible.
Yeah, me too.
It just jumps from one thing to another. There's no continuity. There's no focus.
A lot of the stuff is not even live. It's sort of like edited together summaries.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook. I'm a part of a bunch of different different Argentinians groups. Like from when I was in New York, there was an Argentinians in New York group. And now there's a bunch of different Argentinians in Massachusetts, Boston, whatever. There's different meetups. And so there was a point at which I believe, I might have the details slightly wrong, but I think one of the early, or maybe the first gold medal awarded was, the first gold medal went to Argentina for women's judo, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody took a screenshot of the medal totals for the entire Olympics. And at that time, at the top was Argentina with 1 gold medal.
Right.
And they were posting to some of these groups saying Argentina #1. And of course it's hilarious because Argentina is nowhere near the top at the end, and they're not going to be.
Yeah.
But there was that moment where, because that first gold medal went to judo, which started and ended very, very quickly, not a long process like gymnastics, for example, where it looked as though Argentina was leading the Olympic medal count with 1 gold medal. I'm sure it's not even the case anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting. It is pretty funny. There was one, was it Kosovo, who finally won their first gold medal? That might have been in judo too.
Might be.
And there's been some interesting stuff. I like watching the gymnastics, but it seems it's never on.
Yeah.
And whatever. My thought is whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's this Delta Airlines story. I believe it was Delta last time when there was some Muslim Islamophobia.
Yeah.
And this time I say the word phobia. I mean quite literally fear of Muslims, not hatred of Muslims. So now Nazia and Faisal Ali have accused Delta Airlines of deboarding them just because they were Muslim. Seemed to be the case. They were removed from a U.S.-bound flight. An onboard crew member felt, quote, uncomfortable after noticing that they were, quote, sweating and saying Allah and texting. This is a real serious cause for concern here. One of them removed her sneakers, finished sending a text message to her parents, and was putting on headphones, getting ready for this 9-hour flight from Paris to Cincinnati. A crew member approached, complained, I guess the pilot, you complained to the pilot when they saw the pilot's like the captain, and they were deboarded. The pilot contacted the ground crew, would not take off until they were removed. They had been in their seats for 45 minutes, they said. The ground agent asked them to come along, grab your stuff. They say you're not going to be on this flight. They were interrogated by police, and they were there for their 10th anniversary, celebrating.
Listen, tensions are running high in France. We know that, right? At the same time, sweating and saying Allah, if you have someone who's Christian and is nervous before a flight, they could be sweating and say, oh God, I'm so nervous. And Allah is just God, right? So it's one of these things where you can sort of understand the optics and where this entire situation probably got oxygen and grew on its own. At the same time, is the word Allah the problem when Christian people say God on airplanes all the time? People get nervous flying. I don't know. It does seem like this was a very strange decision.
Saying God means nothing. It's just clear because they said they were Muslim.
Right.
They said Allah. You speak in Arabic, whatever. This is what happens. And so what's the most shocking thing to me is that the pilot just thought, okay.
Yeah, get him off.
Okay, I'm going to go along with whatever you say. And I mean, if I were the pilot, I might have said something like along the lines of, so what exactly is the problem? Why are you so suspicious? Maybe a line of inquiry that tries to ascertain as to whether or not these people are dangerous. But no, it's just, oh, okay. Yes, steward or stewardess, we're going to hold up everything.
Right.
And deal with this. Ridiculous.
Also fascinating that there's a flight from Paris to Cincinnati. That I would not have guessed.
Well, I don't know if it was direct. I guess it was something like 9 hours.
That's about what it would
direct.
be, yeah.
Well, now you know.
There you go. If I ever need to make that flight, it would be available on Delta, which I don't fly anyway because of their anti-union tendencies.
Well, now you can go straight from your Paris vacation to a Bengals game.
There you go.
This is great news. Great news for David. Okay. Here's a food story. I love food stories. Everybody knows that. A noodle stall. It doesn't seem like it's a noodle stall. More like chicken and rice. But it's being called a noodle stall. I guess that's just colloquially what these stalls are referred to.
Yeah.
In Singapore, where lunch is half the price of a Big Mac, has just been awarded 1 Michelin star. And now if you want to eat there, you're going to have to wait for an hour or more. It's just this little tiny little noodle stall in some big marketplace. And it's called Hong Kong Soya Chicken, Rice, and Noodle.
Yep. I saw a little 6 or 7 minute documentary about the guy who runs this thing and the whole getting the Michelin star. Very entertaining and interesting.
Was that on Netflix or something?
No, it's like a YouTube video. It might even be by the Michelin organization. I'm not totally sure, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The guy didn't really believe it at first. He thought they might have been joking.
Yeah.
Or this was some type of prank. but it does seem to be the real deal. And the food does look quite good.
It does look good, yeah. Although, I have to say, and this is just a general complaint about, there are places where you get very commonly when you order at a lot of Asian style restaurants, and I know that I'm just sort of making a very general statement here, but specifically the kind where there are often rice bowls, noodle bowls, soups, etc., where you can choose what protein you want. When you choose chicken, it tends to be chicken thighs, which is fine. I love chicken thighs, much more flavorful than chicken breast. Peace and love it. Love the chicken thighs. But they typically are very, very fatty and often are not at all careful to remove cartilage. So it doesn't really make it that good of an experience for me, where sometimes up to a third of the chicken, I'm basically removing and having to somehow use chopsticks to remove pieces of cartilage and fat. I wish that it was a little bit.
But that's traditional in many places.
Yeah, I know. People are used to it, but it's not a texture I'm used to. When I bite down on cartilage or a piece of fat, it is not a texture that is pleasing to my taste buds or mouth.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of that cartilage is actually pretty good for you.
So I've read. Yeah.
For example, I don't really have any health evidence to give here, but good. They do say that if you order pho at certain places, a lot of the traditional pho will be a mixture of sliced beef, these meatballs, and there will be tendons, like beef tendon in there.
Not a fan.
And I like it.
Oh, really? I recently got a soup, and it was a beef soup, and I realized part of what was in there was not really meat. I mean, it was tendon. Essentially, yeah. And not a fan of it at all.
Well, I dig it.
I can't even really chew through it, to be perfectly frank.
Well, you need to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this guy works 17-hour days. He sells 180 chickens a day.
It's insane.
30 more than before. Only 30 more. That's probably all that he could squeeze in time-wise.
Yeah.
Before his award was made public. And it doesn't seem his prices have gone up, although I'm sure he could increase prices.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. So the meal is $2. And I know that this isn't the type of restaurant where getting a Michelin star will completely change things.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you've got your normal sit-in style place and you get that Michelin star, it usually results in changes.
Absolutely.
But I guess there's maybe one other little noodle stall like this place that has a Michelin star.
That's my understanding.
But I'm glad that they're open to this, right? It is
because it's supposed to be based on food.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that's supposed to be evaluated.
And there have been many times where they've just given a Michelin star to a very small restaurant that is not famous
right.
at all, and it happens. So I like that. I applaud that, and I will continue to want to eat at Michelin-rated restaurants, although we just don't have access to that many, do we?
No, not. Well, yeah, I mean, it depends where you live and how far you're willing to travel. And I'm actually going to have a documentary recommendation about something related to this very soon.
Yeah.
But
we'd have to drive about 3 hours to get to the closest one.
From Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right?
I'm not sure. I don't know where the closest
around New
one
York.
Is it in New York? Real quick, if I may, Lewis, a few notes on the new website. The new website launched Friday. All memberships have been imported. I don't know why I said imported. If you did not receive an email saying, hey, set your password on the new website, you can still, it probably went to spam because they have all been sent out. You can probably go to the new website, go to login and hit forgot my password. As long as we have the right email address for you in the system, if you've changed your email address and didn't reflect it in membership, then your current email address may not actually be in the system. If that's the case, get in touch and we'll sort of sort through these one individual issues. You should be able to just request a password reset to your email, and then you can set your password. We'll do like a tutorial video on how the new website works, but long story short, all the same stuff is there that has been there for members. When you log in the top navigation bar, a menu appears, which is called Member Content. And then you can move your mouse up there and select the year, like Member Content 2016. And then it'll give you the full commercial-free TV show and the bonus show for each day. That's one option. But then the other thing we've done is, if you're just on the home page, and it'll say, like, for example, for today, August 8th, 2016. If you're not logged in as a member, it just shows you the short YouTube public video clips. If you log in as a member, that post will show you the bonus show and the full commercial-free TV show as well. So there's two different ways for you to get the member content. It is there. We also have a page that has the most updated audio podcast information. It's so much better, Lewis. I mean, on the back end, as a picture of Melania Trump comes up, I don't know why. On the back end, it works better, and the website just looks better. Everything about it is better.
Yeah, I'm just shuffling pictures around here. It's far superior.
Yeah.
In every way. It's also easier on our end, too.
Absolutely.
Production-wise, it has expedited the uploading and all that process.
No doubt.
Yep, so it's great.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.